us a little bit like you say like you work like 1 hour every day. You're drilling, and tell us like how you break down the way you drill to improve your judo, your stand up for jiu-jitsu, because that's what you became good. You capable like to show the world, I would say, that the importance of knowing standing up and getting a really good stand-up game even like afterwards. Like imagine if you're doing that since you start training judo, since you start jiu-jitsu, you know.
Yeah,
that would be incredible, right? But you're already doing amazing. Right. So how did you break down like this aspect of training, like drilling judo?
The way that I approach the technique is a lot like I approach jiu-jitsu techniques. So what I'll do first is I make sure that mechanically I'm doing the correct motions. So that means like, say, take Uchimata, for instance. I look closely at like how they'll work with their arms, what effect the arms are doing on the upper body. And then I'll look exactly like at the footwork, like where they're placing their feet, what direction they're facing, the timing, like how synchronized everything is. For instance, one thing I remember learning early on for Uchimata is if you're going to do a backstep Uchimata, there's 2 steps that happen. You step initially towards them and then you backstep in. And you're meant to do your pull on the backstep. So that's like a detail a lot of people will miss for a very long time, and they won't understand why their Uchimata works. And it's just like an oversight on that. So the first part is making sure that all these drills you're about to do going forward are based fundamentally like on the correct technique. You know, so you got to make sure you're doing it right, or all these reps are wasted.
For sure.
So I would study a lot, and I would make sure I would do the technique correctly. And one thing that helped me a lot is when I first started really trying to pursue judo, I would record myself doing the technique the way that I thought it was supposed to be done, and then I would bring it to somebody that knew judo better than me. Like, for instance, I was taking classes with Justin Flores, and I would show him and I would say like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, am I doing this correctly? And he would make like little minor adjustments, and then I'd know, okay, like now I have a better version of that, and I can start doing the next stage of like improvement, which would be, I feel like getting tons of reps to build coordination and strength doing the motion. Because the first time you ever do like any motion, it could be in the gym doing like a clean or something, your body is uncoordinated, it's not working together, you know, your glutes aren't working at the same time as like your chest to raise your shoulders. So you need to do a lot of rote drilling to build that coordination and strength. And then once you have that part, you're going to go on to like setups and timing. You know, you got to watch a lot of footage. I would watch a lot of footage and see what the best like Uchimata players, I'm just going to keep using that example because that's my favorite throw. What I would watch, not the highlights, because in the highlights they just show the throw. They just show a huge throw. I would watch matches. Like there's a website you can go to, Judo Base, I think it's called, and you can look up a fighter and you can see all their results, and you can click a match and it'll show you a timestamp for when they tried to go for a throw. And I would click like Uchimata, like it was just like a Wazari or something. I'd click Uchimata, and then I'd rewind back and I'd see what led to that. You know, did they like feint behind and then go Uchimata? Was it off of grip fighting, you know? And then I would see if I could replicate that in my own training. And then once I would get enough entries, I would apply it in randori or sparring.
Sparring.
And that's like a whole other thing. Like learning how to randori properly in judo is, people don't know how to do that for a long, they'll do judo forever and they still don't know how to do randori in the most effective way, conducive for learning. You know, some people just like fight super hard. At least that leads to a lot of injuries. And it also like, you kind of like skim past the things you're supposed to be improving. You know, so I would take that into randori, and then when I did randori, that was kind of in sections too. So the first part that I would do randori, it almost wasn't even randori. It was like how we do in jiu-jitsu, like flowing. Yeah, we would flow. Like I would go with one of my training partners I trusted, and I would say like, okay, we're going to take turns throwing each other, but you're not going to know when I'm going to do it, but you know that it's my turn. And we would move and we would grip fight, and I would give like a little bit of resistance, and then when I felt him enter, I would take the throw. You know, so you start to learn the timing, you start to learn like when it's there, when it feels awkward, you get feedback. And then you move to the next stage where you're doing more live sparring, but you're never fully resisting when the person comes in. You know, when you feel that throw starting to happen and your hips are getting lifted off the floor, your resistance stops and you just do like your ukemi, your break fall, you know? And then once you get very comfortable with all of that, then you move on to actual randori. You know, then you get somebody you can trust and you go at it and you still take the falls when they come, but you don't have to like give it to the person.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, this is the way that I was able to get to a level that I'm proficient, but also like minimize injury.
Yeah,
you know? I've never
exactly.
gotten a serious injury from judo except one time before, I like way back when I tried it one time and I hurt my shoulder because I was resisting super hard. you know?
Like the guy trying to throw you and then you resisting.
As hard as I could.
Yeah.
Like bury me first. Like he was trying to do taitoshi and I could see the floor like coming at my face and I was like, never. Like I just like resisted as hard
You
as I
land
can.
on your shoulder.
Oh, super bad. Yeah. I had like a my clavicle, you know, like did like this.
Sucks.
And my shoulder was down.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, that's one thing I do when I'm doing judo. For example, if I call you to train, like I know you have a great judo, I know you're gonna go for your ushimata, your throws. One thing that I do, I don't know if you notice, like when I'm doing judo with you or training stand up, I just go, you know, like the guy get a perfect takedown. I'm like, man, let me go, you know, and then I just fall and then stand up again. When it's a perfect takedown, you don't need to like resist, you know what I mean? It's training.
Yeah.
Right? And also like when you do it and I feel like the way you're doing it, I'm learning as well.
Exactly.
Right? So
yeah.
I think like that's the secret, you know. And a lot of people, they don't understand that, especially jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of people are scared of the fall.
Yeah.
They never get over that fear. I know people I still train judo with to this day that are so scared to fall. They like, it's kind of hard to train with them. You know what I mean?
And that's when you get hurt.
That's when you get hurt. Exactly. Because what happens is when, say, somebody enters for a throw, you feel they've got you and you still fight it as hard as you can. All you're doing is making the time you have to safely break fall shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter to the point where you finally go over and you just land right on your shoulder, on your back. You know, you want to just kind of go with it like you like to do, like just go with it, take the break fall, you know, absorb whatever technique you can out of it, and then go again.
And sometimes I feel like more I stiff my body to not let you take me down, harder is the takedown. Like let's say for a taiotoshi, for example, man, when you try to block that, you go like super hard.
It makes it bad. I'll resist for a second, and when I feel I'm about to go, I'm like, I'm just gonna go. Like it's.
Dom, have you fall and then you feel like your lungs like closed? And you're like,
yes, but okay. When I first started, like I used to hug onto people when they would throw me.
Oh my god!
So like that's
they land on you.
You'd like pull them down on top of you, you know.
Yeah.
So like then they just squeeze you like an accordion, like.
One time that happened with me, man. You just stand up and you just like nothing comes in. Like it's terrible.
You take like 2 minutes to tie your belt.
Oh my god, it's the worst.
Yeah.
But and then like how many, for example, like you pick like 4 or 5 takedowns that day and then drill it, or you do like always the same takedowns or the same throws, or how many times you repeat each? Like is by time or?
I like to do one major like technique if I'm working on something. Like I'll just do one version of Uchimata and then maybe I'll throw entries and like things around it, like grip fighting entries, like a small foot sweep to set it up. But I don't like to go into like a session and like have 2 major things to work on because it just splits your time. I like to get a lot of reps on one thing and just add stuff around it. You know what I mean?
Nice. So you pick like, for example, the Ushimata and then footwork and then like setup and then like hand fight, just a pull.
I'll use like grip fighting. I'll use movement, you know, and then maybe a little setup. But the actual mechanics that I use for the throw is always the same, you know.
Yeah, and the grip fighting is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's like I remember when I did judo in 2008. I did 1 year of judo. Man, I was like throwing everyone easy, and then even like if you don't throw, the good thing of doing judo, you always make the person late. Like they're gonna be late. They you know like you're gonna grab, you're gonna start shaking them, like they're gonna be like, oh, what's happening? Like they're gonna pull guard, they pull guard all wrong, no grips. And it's easy for you to pass.
They just don't want to be in whatever situation, whatever plan you have for them, they just don't want it.
It's
know?
really good, man.
Yeah.
The hand fight. It's a great feeling too to have that within your game.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
I think if you're kind of worried to learn judo, or like you're apprehensive about it, maybe you're older, you feel like your body can't handle it, at least learn the grip fighting and learn the ashiwaza. You don't need to learn
foot sweeps,
the
right?
foot sweeps. Yeah, foot sweeps and foot sweeps counters. Because if you know how to grip fight, nobody's going to take you down. Nobody's going to throw you. That's what the grip fighting is for. It's like controlling the distance and controlling, you know, if they can like get in on you. And then you learn foot sweeps, and those are so low risk, you know, and you can get really, really good at those.
Yeah.
You know,
it's simple, right?
So simple. And like once you know the kind of like the trick around foot sweeps, they just start to come, you know, they just start to like.
And you showed this on your instructionals, your course.
Yeah.
A lot of foot sweeps, ushimata, like more like simple ways, like to not like giving on your back, because in jiu-jitsu that's what you're concerned, you know.
Yeah, giving up the back.
Yeah.
That's a big.